activity is called roll the die. And this is an example of how you can use choice, chance, and keep things self-paced. Very simple. Materials, all you need is a die. And the teacher will provide a theme initially, or the students could select a theme, and it's a way to review vocabulary. So each student is going to have a turn to roll the die. If you get a 2, that means you have to say 2 words. And then it's the next person's turn, and so on. Now, if the students have not learned a lot of vocabulary, then you let them repeat the words. If they already have learned a fair amount, then they're not allowed to repeat the words. Okay? So we can try this in English, and why don't you start, and let's use the category of animals.
Okay. 1. Dog.
2. Turtle and fish.
Reptiles, kind of.
Okay. 5. I'm going to say antelope, aardvark, a bear, a giraffe, and a zebra.
So, as you can see, when you're doing it in your mother tongue, this isn't very hard. And aren't these creative students who are able to come up with some really interesting animals?
Alors, on va jouer un jeu avec le dé ici, avec le vocabulaire. On va pratiquer le vocabulaire. Alors, on lance le dé comme ça, c'est 5. Alors, si la catégorie est les animaux, par exemple, on dit 5 animaux différents. Bon? Alors, Alex, commencez, s'il vous plaît. Oui, Jessie.
Can I say the same animal after?
Oui, si tu ne sais pas un nouveau animal, oui, tu peux dire le même.
Et peut-être encore une chose,
Oui.
quand on parle en français, c'est important d'ajouter l'article. Donc, on ne sait pas, on ne dit pas chat, on dit le chat. D'accord?
Ok. Alors, j'ai 5. Le chat, le chien, le cheval, l'ours et le papillon.
Je ne sais pas. Ok.
6.
Ah, 6. Ok. La tortue, la girafe, l'ours.
J'ai dit l'ours.
Le wapiti, le tigre, l'éléphant. Et c'est combien?
Ça, c'est 4.
Le serpent. Et
Bueno, Erika, tienes que escuchar, ¿ok? Así, vamos a jugar un poquito. Tenemos aquí un dado. Vamos a lanzar el dado. Así, yo he recibido 4. Yo tengo que decir 4 colores. Así, Erika. 2.
Blanco, negro.
Qué bien. Y Jessie.
2.
2 también.
Azul, amarillo.
Azul y amarillo. Perfecto. Also, wir werden mit den Würfeln spielen. Also, was passiert? Du wirfst einen Würfel. Wenn du ein 5 bekommst, musst du 5 Farben sagen. Also, wenn ihr könnt, nicht wiederholen. Aber wenn ihr müsst, das geht. Also, du machst 5, dann bist du dran. Du wirfst den Würfel. Also, du wirst.
2.
2. Super.
Okay. Gelb, brun.
Gelb und braun. Super. Sehr gut.
Good. So what we see here is an example of self-paced learning, because there was no pressure on you to have to come up with the word quicker than your memories would enable you to do so. You also had a choice. You could choose whichever words you wanted. And of course, the chance or fun element is how many you're going to get. From a learner perspective, how did it feel?
first? Yeah.
Sure. In French, I felt a little bit of stress about the articles. That's what throws me.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
good.
I think it was fun, and I think the element of chance does make it more exciting. 'Cause even I speak French, but it was still exciting for me.
Okay.
I think when it's a language that you're comfortable with, it's fun because you can try and see how obscure you can get with your vocabulary and straying away from the norm. So I think that's fun.
Okay, but now we're intending to use this with beginner learners when they have a very small vocabulary.
Yeah.
Do you think that that it would be a stressful situation for them?
I think if they were all at around the same level with the language, it might not be as stressful because they're all trying new things. So I think it could work well for them.
I taught the wild animal unit in grade 8 French for my APT, and I used the dice game, and they really liked it. So even though they only had limited words, and at the first stage I let them use a word list,
Exactly.
and then after took that away so that eventually they were working without the word list.
Great. So this is also a strategy that can be used in many different ways, and one way certainly is if you've just introduced some new vocabulary, put the visual form of the vocabulary, meaning the print form, as a form of support so that the students can look. And some students will say, oh, you're cheating, you're cheating. Well, you're not cheating. You're at the point of learning when you need support. And it's also important that the teacher can establish that difference. When you're in a testing exam situation, the supports are removed. Looking at supports could be considered cheating. But looking at supports when you're at a learning stage is not cheating. It's actually being smart and looking at ways that you can succeed at the activity.